Hey, don't get any better than this. Cheers. Oh, you can't beat a lovely cup of tea, can you? Well, for those of you who wanted to see the Teasmade, I hope you enjoyed it. That's what happened this morning. We actually done that this morning. We woke up to that. And every morning from now onwards. Great little thing. And those of you, that is the old original retro one, by the way. It's not a brand new one. You can buy them new now. But if you look on eBay, you'll find that you can pick them up from the 70s. And don't forget, a lot of these Teasmades that people had in the 70s, a lot of them didn't actually use them, because when people used to get married, they used to get given as wedding presents and put in the wardrobe and just basically left. So a lot of them are actually brand new. So if you like what you saw, have a look on eBay, see if you get yourself one. We love it. Sharon don't even have to get out of bed in the morning. She saw it, she just has to reach over and pour the tea out. Anyway, that's enough of that. Back to Gilera. We've just charged the battery up. We're not going to do the finished bodywork today, because all the black on the, hold on, wait there. All the black parts of the bodywork need repainting, and what Jimmy did accidentally, he was going to do this himself the other day, black all this in, and he asked me for some black bumper stuff, and I pointed him to a can, and what it actually was bumper conditioner. So he sprayed it on thinking it was a black spray, and it was just a conditioner which makes it shine basically. He then showed me the container, and I said, no, that's not the stuff. And I went to the drawer and I actually physically got out the black bumper paint what we had. So anyway, I said use that instead. So he come back later on that evening and showed me it was all flaking and peeling off. What he'd done, he sprayed over the black bumper conditioner straight away without wiping it all off. So that was the only tin I had, so hence we've got to do that job again, so I've had to order some new bumper stuff. Now you might remember what I said about the problem we had with the Speedo drive. Let me just show you how I got over that one. Now, as I said to you, this is the original Speedo drive, and there is a lug which located, let me go around this side if you can see it. That notch there used to have, obviously corresponded with some sort of lug on this, the older version of this, but obviously it's not in the right place, so it was either get another one of these or do something else. Well, the way I got over it, as you can see on this actual fork bottom, there is a little cutout or a little protrusion of aluminium there. This obviously located on the NRG moped, but what I was able to do, the little boss of this Speedo drive, I was able to grind a flat in it that lined up with that boss, and so basically when you push the spline through the hole, the boss and the groove which I've cut in there totally line up, and that actually stops that from rotating. So I was able to get over it that way. So thinking that was it all we had to do, I then come up against another problem on the other side. The problem here, we've got the caliper legs are in exactly the same place, the holes are in exactly the same place, and the difference we've got here is the caliper brackets here are wider, so you can't actually slide this behind, so there's not enough room for the clearance. So as you can see, that's the old one there. If I line the old one up there, you can see there's not a lot in it. It's about 1/4 of an inch, but it's enough. Oh, can I get it down there? Can't see it that much, can you? There you go. That gap there is the difference that the discs can't go on. So what I've actually had to do there is to source another caliper off of an NRG 50, so I've got that coming as well. So realistically, we can't put it totally back together, but what we can do, as I said, we've got a new battery, so we're just going to plonk the battery in place and check the electrics out, because there seemed to be a problem with the electrics. We don't know whether it was the battery, but at least now we can check that. Right, okay, here's the situation we had. We've connected the battery up, and when we turn the ignition on, nothing happens. That was exactly the same problem as we had at the beginning. So let me just show you what I've found here. On the diagram, as you can see, there's the negative and there's the positive to the battery. There's two reds connected to the battery. The first one goes down via a fuse and goes in two positions. Obviously, one goes up straight to your alternator, which we're not worried about at the moment, as long as we know where it goes. And the second one goes up via this red and white cable, comes along here and goes up into what is our ignition switch. So basically, permanent feed from the battery should come from here through the fuse, and on this terminal up at the ignition switch number 2 terminal, which is the red and white cable, we should have a permanent feeding. So if I take you over to the battery, as you can see, here's the two wires from the battery, and up here is the 4 cables in that ignition switch. The second one, being this one here, is the red and white one. If I just turn it around, you can see that there's a red and white one. So basically, if I put a positive terminal from the meter on there and a negative down to the negative side of the battery, there should be 12 volts there. Well, there wasn't. We had only basically 5 volts there. So what I done, I traced it back to that inline fuse which I showed you, and across that inline fuse is where we was dropping our voltage, so we only had 5 volts. I put a temporary link in there, and then when we put the terminal in that second terminal there to earth, that gives us our 13 volts. So our initial problem was lack of voltage due to a high resistance joint which was in that thing there. I mean, this is all corroded up and stuff like that, so it looks like it's been getting hot, it looks like it's been burning there, so obviously showing a high resistance joint, so that's got to be replaced. Once we've done that, once we had the voltage at that top terminal there, this is the ignition switch, as I said to you. When you turn the ignition switch, it obviously brings these two terminals together and also sends a feed down these two terminals when you turn the ignition on. So we know we've definitely got a positive there. Going down this terminal here, which takes us to our indicator lights, which is all our warning lights and thus, and also takes us down there to our oil warning light sensor. So basically, when we turn the key, we should get a feed onto these, and that in turn lights up. Well, that wasn't happening, and basically the problem was, this is that switch there, as you can see. I've basically stripped this apart. We can't clean it any more than it is, but this switch now isn't letting current pass through, so we need a new one of these as well. So we can't really do any more at the moment until we've ordered them 2 parts. So yeah, that's just what we found at the moment. So a little quick update there. We're waiting for a caliper, we're waiting for the switches, and there's no reason why these electrics wouldn't work fine. What I presume is that when we actually went to pick this moped up, it was in a garage with some youngsters, and there was loads and loads of toolboxes there, so you'd naturally assume they've had a look at this. But with a little bit of investigation, a little bit of fault diagnosis, that is the actual problem with the electrics. So there you go. I'll leave you with this one for now. We'll come back to you when we've got these parts. Thanks very much, and goodbye.